let me tell you a little bit about myself first. My name is Luigi. I'm a Roman citizen, and I have a Roman dagger. And the reason I have a Roman dagger is to protect my silver coins. I have 30 silver coins, enough to buy a slave. So let me tell you a little about Jerusalem. First of all, there's a large wall that goes completely around the city. There are gates, double gates with guards on them. And my brother-in-law, he's here with me. We're both from the coast with Pontius Pilate. That's where he lives. Pontius Pilate lives on the coast, which is about 40 miles from here. And he comes out for big festivals or occasions, so maybe 3, maybe 4 times a year he comes here. So he's here, I'm here, and I happen to be a crossmaker, or better known as a carpenter. And I work for Pontius Pilate. And the nice part about having your brother-in-law being a guard for Pontius Pilate, every night at dinner time we find out what's going on. So he was telling me last week, in the very far gate, there was this man called Jesus coming in. He was riding on a donkey. So I asked my brother-in-law, who is this guy? What does he do? Where is he from? Well, they call him a Nazarene. And Nazareth is probably maybe 75 miles north from Jerusalem. It's kind of a mountain town, but he wasn't born there. He was born in Bethlehem, which is maybe about 5 or 6 miles south of here. And he was born approximately the time that they were taking census for Rome. So that was maybe around 30 years ago. So I asked him, well, what does he do? Why are this big crowd? He was riding on a donkey coming into the city. And the people were putting palm branches on the ground, taking their coats off and putting it on and letting them walk to keep the dust down. And I'm thinking, why would they do this for this guy Jesus? Well, they say there are 2 types of people that are walking with him and the crowd. There are people that want to see him do some kind of trick. They say he's like a magician. Then they say there are his followers, people that believe in him. He talks about a new way of worshiping God. He talks about a new way of forgiveness of sin. And I'm thinking, wow. That's something. But why would they do this? Well, he goes a little further. He turns around and he does some real special stuff, like spits in the dirt and puts it on a man's eyes. The man can see. He heals the lame, the sick, even the lepers. Now, usually if you're a leper, you live outside the city in caves. He was able to touch man, his hands, and make him whole once again. But what amazes me, that is beyond magician, is how he brings people back from the dead. Now wait a minute, dead? Dead. 4 days. Usually if you're dead 4 days, you're dead. But this man, Jesus, calls the man's name out of the tomb, and he comes to life. Not just not a man, but he also brings a little girl back. So he does some amazing, amazing things. This man, Jesus. So they're following him because they want to see the tricks, or they're believers. So I'm thinking, wow. Anyhow, today I'd like to talk a little bit about the cross. What is it? What does it mean? Well, there are two types of crosses that the Romans used. They used the cross and a T-cross to put their victims on. When they would conquer someone, they would line their victims up on either side of the road, and you would see them suffering on the sides of the road, nailed to crosses. And not just for a couple of miles. There's one area in the Bible that talks about that they line the road up for 100 miles with people on crosses. Over 6,000 people. That's amazing to me. Well, let me tell you about this cross. It's a one-way ticket. What I mean by that? It's certified by one of the high priests that this man is dead. The high priest has to be present. What does that mean? Well, usually at dusk end or the end of the day, they would put a person on the cross, and at dusk they would break their legs. And the reason they break their legs, they can't stand on their legs. You can't stand on their legs. You can't open your diaphragm, and you suffocate. When Jesus was on the cross, he was on the cross for 6 hours about. And he died before they had to break his legs. So how did they find out that he was dead? They took a spear and jabbed it into the side. And the water and blood separated, so they knew he was dead. So what do they do with the body after that? They put it into a tomb. Someone asked for his body, and they put it into a brand new tomb. But not just a tomb. They had to have guards on the tomb. Why? Because the rumor is that this man, Jesus, predicted his death. He knew he was going to die. He knew how he was going to die. And yet, in 3 days, he was going to come back to life. They put him into a tomb, and they sealed the tomb with a large rock and put a seal on the door of the tomb and put 2 soldiers on that tomb. When they put the 2 soldiers on that tomb, they stayed there. Apparently, an angel came and took him away, because the next morning there was nothing. In fact, when the tomb was rolled, the stone was rolled away, they found his cloth, and that's it. They tortured this man. They put him on a cross. They put large nails through his hands and his feet. But the amazing thing is, he knew how he was going to die and why. For you, for me, he died on that cross for us. He could have called angels to help him, but he did the God's will, his Father's will, because he loved us so much. As he turns around and comes out of the tomb, does anyone ever see him? They put guards on him because they knew they were going to steal the body. The guards were made to go to sleep. Angels came and got him. He walks among us today. What do you mean he walks among us today? Would you believe that he has been seen? Over 500 people have seen him walk today, walking on this earth after they put him on the cross. He has come back to life in 3 days. There is no one in the history of this world or in our universe that has ever predicted his death and come back to life for us. You people have some weird clothes. I've got to go get some more tools. You guys have a nice day.